We're back on Get Up, and we're with Dan Orlovsky, Damian Woody. We got Jeremy Fowler along the way. And wait till you hear what Jordan Rogers has to say about Arch Manning in just a bit. But we're starting with the NFL, and it's time for some firewood. That's the big man's music. That's Damian Woody. D. Wood, give us some fire. Let's begin in Miami. Is there trouble brewing down there?
Oh, there's trouble brewing in South Beach. You know, when you look at this Miami Dolphins team, what are they? What are the Miami Dolphins? You're talking about a team that 4 of their captains from last year's team are no longer on the team. You talk about Jalen Ramsey being traded away. Can the quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa, can he win any important game? Mike McDaniel, you need to have your best coach this season, or things going to get hot down in South Beach. I can tell you that right now.
Ooh, all right, let's stay in the AFC East. Who are you buying this season?
Listen, if this is stock market,
that logo.
I'm buying stock in the New England Patriots.
They're back.
Yes, they're back, folks. Look, Mike Vrabel, my former teammate, is back up in Foxborough, riding this ship up there. We know they have a very young, very talented quarterback in Drake May. And you have Josh McDaniels back as the offensive coordinator. He's going to make a world of difference. They added pieces along the offensive line. Stephon Diggs at the #1 wide receiver. Their defense is going to be a lot better. I'm telling you right now, watch out for the New England Patriots in the AFC.
I'm coming here to Get Up, and I like to celebrate all 32 teams in the NFL. So give us a team that maybe we don't talk about every day on Get Up that you're high on in the NFC.
How about the Arizona Cardinals?
The who?
The Arizona Cardinals. Listen, you just mentioned it, Daniel. The Arizona Cardinals, physical. They can run the football. They're physical on offense. I expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to be a lot better this year. In year 2, they got Trey McBride, one of the best tight ends. They rebuilt on defense, especially their front. Okay, this team, I'm telling you, is going to make some noise in that NFC West. We talk about the Los Angeles Rams. You know, we talk about the San Francisco 49ers. Watch out for the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're going to make some noise.
I like that fonting there. Cardinals are that team. That is either in bold and caps lock or italics. We'll take it.
Hey, I'm putting my stamp on it. Watch out for the Cardinals in that division.
Don't mind.
All right, the story of the day comes from our Jeremy Fowler. He's polled more than 50 different coaches, executives, and scouts on the best quarterbacks in the league. He asked them to rank them, and this is the result. A list that is putting together all of those votes. We've got Patrick Mahomes still as the top dog, Josh Allen 2, Joe Burrow 3, Lamar 4, Jayden Daniels, the top quarterback in the entire NFC, and so on and so forth. You see the rest of the list. Let's take a look at it and do a little deeper dive. Jeremy Fowler, we're bringing you in right now. Mahomes is number 1. But is that door cracked open a bit right now with these other quarterbacks nipping at his heels?
Yeah, Peter, I'm still fired up by that D-Wood segment, though. That was awesome. And I'm a little scared by the graphics, so I'm trying to say things carefully. But Patrick Mahomes, the door is open slightly. Teams are coming after him. You got Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. They are all closing the gap a little bit. But Mahomes still received 60% of the first-place votes among executives, scouts, and coaches. So that's pretty convincing. The problem is last year he got all but one first-place vote. It was about 98%. So the grip is loosening slightly. That Super Bowl performance was sobering. The numbers have not been up to his normal par, but we're talking about a quarterback that just won 17 games last year, including the playoffs, in what's considered a down year for his standards, despite injuries at the receiver position. Travis Kelce not at his best. Guards playing offensive tackle, moving around the offensive line. It was a mess, and he was handling the game situation really well. Just not as prolific as he was. These other guys have been more prolific.
Dan Orlovsky, Mahomes is number 1, but those 3 AFC quarterbacks are right there. How do you view this?
Yeah, so the gap as far as the ability to play has never really been that ridiculously big. It's just that Patrick's been his best when it's been needed the most. Obviously, the playoff runs, Super Bowls, and that's kind of where it's elevated him past those guys. But Josh Allen's coming off the best season of his career, obviously the MVP. Lamar Jackson coming off one of the best seasons of his career and certainly capable of winning MVP last year. And Joe Burrow, best season of his career and capable of winning MVP. I do think the interesting part of it all is that 2-3 spot really between Josh and Lamar. I know Lamar's sitting at 4 and that group is by itself. But one of those guys has to beat Patrick
this year.
Has to. Lamar has to. We can cut to it. Lamar has to get it done. One, it's the best roster in the AFC in Buffalo. It's the second best roster in football. Two, and the difference between Lamar and Josh, in my opinion, in the context of this conversation, in the playoffs, Lamar's teams have been outscored, like, in the first half, 67-21 in his 5 losses. Outscored 37-3 off turnovers. So the burden of or some of the reasoning is maybe he hasn't played his very best. Josh, you can make the case, has. Lamar's got to get it done. You're not going to get into the conversation, and nor will Josh, until you beat him when it's win or go home.
We always talk about Montana and Brady, and we go through the different Manning. Then there's that other group of Hall of Fame quarterbacks, the Dan Fouts, Warren Moon, maybe Phil Rivers, guys that never made it to the Super Bowl. But is this where they're at right now?
Absolutely. I mean, this is like, if you were to think of, it's Brady, it's Ben, it's Peyton and Rivers, that group, that group of 4, and we have Patrick, Lamar, Josh, and Burrow. And we don't talk about Phillip Rivers the same way we do.
He never got to a bowl.
Correct. And so Joe Burrow doesn't want to be that. As great of a player he is, Josh doesn't want to be that. Lamar doesn't want to be that, where you're the guy that statistically and MVP, you're a no-brainer Hall of Famer. But because I do think it's okay to say, specifically with Josh and Lamar, you got teams that are good enough to win it. You do. I don't think Joe's defense is good enough to win the Super Bowl this year, but those 2 guys have teams good enough to win the Super Bowl.
How much value do you put in those big game wins? Is that why Mahomes is number 1, or is it truly, if you're taking any quarterback for one game and you put them on all the same teams, you'd want Mahomes?
It's what separates these guys. Think about it, Peter. When we talk about quarterbacks, like, it's minuscule. We're nitpicking with those 4 guys. But you know what separates Mahomes from all those other guys? It's the moments that matter the most. And that's how we judge these guys. Whether we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, whether we're talking about Tom Brady, all those guys. It's those moments in time where those drives where you knew, whether you're watching Brady or Mahomes, they're going to go out there and make the plays and get it done. And to me, that's why we got to pump the brakes on all of this. All these guys are catching up. Really?
Well,
wait, hold on. Really? Because last time I checked, the Kansas City Chiefs offense, that offense was the worst offense in the Patrick Mahomes era. And where did he end up?
They won 17 games.
Won 17 games and went to the Super Bowl.
Okay, so if we're like, the difference between Patrick and Josh is really 3 drives. If we're being honest about the whole big picture, in 21, Patrick leads that 3-play, 44-yard drive, field goal. They get the ball in overtime, game-winning touchdown. 2 years ago, he leads that 8-play. This is right after Buffalo scores. 8-play, 75-yard drive, go-ahead touchdown. And then in last year, right after a touchdown, 8-play, 51-yard go-ahead.
Josh got stopped on 4th down. He was stopped. He was stopped.
Yes, but like, there's a drop in there. The same thing could be said with Lamar. There's a drop in there. And so I understand it, but like, everyone's saying that I love Patrick. He's the best player I've ever seen. But the gap hasn't been this ridiculous gap of ability to play the position. He's just gotten it done when it matters the most. Those guys have to answer the question. There's no question about that. But it's not like his ability to play the position is just in a different category than those other guys.
Jeremy Fowler, you pulled all